If we want to live multi-generationally, if we want to care for our aging parents, if we want our kids in their adult years to be around us, which my dream has been, I want to be around my kids and grandkids. That is the life I want to live. How can we do that?
Run your home and your dough like a biblical boss. Friends, it's time for another Abraham's Wallet tent tour. And this is the very special episodes that we get to have, I don't know, once or twice a year. We're going to actually walk through someone's home and hear their vision for what has God called them to, and why are they building their house the way that they are. We're in Cincinnati. These are our friends Eric and Whitney Sztanyo, and they're not only going to walk us through their existing house, which you see here, but a gigantic addition that's happening on the back of the house. And a lot of you have just said, look, when a family starts putting feet to their vision and go, what if we could express what God's called us to physically, what would that look like? And for some people that means, well, they need to get a 12-seater van, or we need to buy a golf cart, or who knows what. But for these guys, it's dramatically expanding the size of their house. So we're going to jump to the back of the house and have a conversation with Eric and Whitney Sztanyo for this tent tour.
Okay. Here are the things we were hoping to get. Master bedroom away from kids, large gathering space, 20 by 20 or larger, 5 to 6 bedrooms, or 4 with the ability to add more in the basement. A desired destination and meeting place for family events for the next 40 years. That was a 10 out of 10 for us. Within budget. That one we did not hit.
That one wasn't as important.
It was important, but that was a miss.
Let's go back to you in your house, which is insufficient for what you want your house to do. So rewind, tell me what your house doesn't do that you want to have happen for your family, and then how you got from there to here.
So we've been here 10 years. We have 5 kids. We had enough space for our family, but we were just looking ahead. And so 5 kids, we're telling them, hey, we want you to be married and have kids. A lot of kids. And so we're like, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 grandkids, hopefully, would be awesome. It would be cool to have a spot for that. As we're enjoying our family gatherings, it's like, it's great, but it's tight. And we have more kids than our current family gatherings. So that was part of it, definitely. Being able to host family. We're part of a home church right now. And that home church has like 40 kids right now. And there's only a few houses that can do that. And so we wanted to be able to participate in kind of a rotation for hosting a church or other types of worship events or church ministry thingies. We were both a part of the Young Life ministry, so we specifically kind of made a room. We want teenagers. We want our kids to be here. We don't want them to go out there.
That's right.
And so we wanted to build a place that was cool and that they wanted to come to. And so we feel like we've checked that box. Jeremy Pryor, friend of the show, he asked a good question, which was like, are you city people who occasionally visit the country, or are you country people who occasionally visit the city? The thought of me like chopping wood and splitting and like clearing trails for every weekend of the rest of my life wasn't all that appealing to me.
Yeah, we're kind of in between here because we have woods. Our kids love to play in the woods, and we have woods behind us, and we love this location.
Yeah.
Every time we would see a house way out, we would drive back here and feel sad, and that's how we knew we're in a really good spot already, yet we have these woods, but we can walk up to dinner around the corner.
Right.
But
You've got a nice
we're not
adventure.
in an urban center.
Right.
Either.
So our 3 options were buy a home in like Triple Crown, Union, Kentucky, some existing home that could fit most of our needs in suburbia, Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky land, or buy a piece of land somewhere and build a house. And that seemed like a good option. We were pretty close to that, but then we lost the neighbors, we lost the like walkability of a city and all of that. And we were particularly looking for that with family. So the 20-acre thing was also like, if my parents move with us and my brother moves with us, we are much more excited about that idea. And it took them a little time, but they realized now we're good where we're at. And once they made that decision, I think we were a little bit more free to make this decision here. We are close to, with our 3rd floor attic space, we're close to 3,000 feet on this house, but it kind of shoots straight up. It was built in 1905. We've added on a house, a bigger house on our house. So we've added on around 4,000 more square feet. Like it's.
So
We should go see it.
so you got
Should we walk around? and talk more?
7,000-foot machine here.
This is a machine. It looks like a spaceship. Yes.
Let's
Awesome.
start at the front of the house so we can get a feel of what it
Okay.
used to be like this and this, and then we'll get
Let's
the
do it.
feeling of.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. All right.
Okay, so just for a lay of the land, we're going to go through the front of the house here, but you can just see around the side, the big old dumpster. There's construction all back there, and then here's the Pryor home next door.
Yeah.
So yeah, this looks like a stately Cincinnati 1905 kind of.
That's beautiful. We walked in the first time we saw the staircase and we were like, shit.
Current small living room with kids in it,
Okay.
watching a cartoon so that we can meet with you guys.
Of course, this gives you an understanding how.
Yeah, not a huge space for me.
Right. You can imagine if your family's in here, you're full. Much less to host another family.
Yeah.
Right.
We have this dining room, but one of our needs, or one of our dreams, they say if you build it, they will come, or so I've heard. This room, when it's all said and done, will become kind of a transitional guest space or mother-in-law's suite, and we're going to take what was our laundry room behind this wall and make a full bathroom that's sort of handicap accessible with a walk-in shower. Because if we could take in any still living grandparents or parents as they have needs, we've never had a first floor guest space, and my grandmother will come stay with us and sleep on our couch. So we're
That's an
thrilled.
That's an open invite to parents in the future, and they're not asking for it. We're just like, it's here.
That's great.
Here if you need it.
This is the Justin Wolfenberg School of the first floor accessible. Hopefully, you hope it's for grandparents, but
Yeah. If not, we'll find another use for it.
Yeah.
But we're planning for that.
that's great. I love it. It's a good. I mean, it's a good.
Yeah, like
for,
here's our pantry.
the size of kitchen.
The
that you
pantry
walk in.
currently.
Yeah, the construction dust is everywhere. Our laundry room came into here. There's boarded up windows. So like,
Will this kitchen?
we're actually taking this kitchen and we're going to put it down in the basement for an apartment. And so the basement will be its own place. Now we could rent it out. We could have guests come in town and stay, have their own private space.
Okay.
It'll be a bedroom, a full bath, and the kitchen.
And this kitchen.
This kitchen, we're going to try to repurpose it down there. And which is great. And so in the future, the idea with that as well is like when the kids get married, or maybe they're first married, or maybe they're back from college, or maybe have their first kid, there's an apartment downstairs, completely separate living. Again, most of this stuff is like, we have a model next door from the Friars, which is great.
I was gonna say that's what they've got going next door. Schmoyers have a similar thing.
Yeah,
there's like a encapsulated home inside their home.
Totally, it's phenomenal. Yeah.
All right, now let's
You
go
want to
through and
see?
it.
You want to go here?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
go. Let's magically go through this door.
All right. Before we go in, we have a new garage. Yes.
Thank you.
Our old garage was an old garage where the door couldn't shut, and we had chickens, and everything was just dusty all the time. I was so happy to rip that thing down. That was like one of my favorite things. But the other thing we got here, or will have by next week, is a whole new driveway. So we're gonna have 2 driveways. So in Fort Thomas, parking is an issue, especially on this street too. And that was a big win to be able to think through parking, and we're excited about that.
So, just to connect the dots, one thing that you're doing by putting driveways on both sides of your house is if you're going to have these big meetings of your house church, which could be 15 families, you've got parking all around your house because there's not much on the street.
That's it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
We're trying to take some of the burden off the neighborhood.
Great.
Yeah, we've put a lot of burden on them so far.
All right. Let's visionize. Just the new world.
I sat down and wrote a 20-year vision for our family for a Sukkot holiday.
That's important. What he's saying is that vision was coming first. Okay.
Yeah, I pictured ourselves at Sukkot in the year 2040, and I wrote this in 2020, and it was all of our ages, my grown kids, how many grandkids were here, my parents who were here, and then it was also sensual in that, like, what did it sound like? There was music, there were pies being baked, there was meat being grilled, there were There was cigars being smoked. There was a fire, and we didn't have that space necessarily. And so part of the vision of this whole thing was like, how do we create a space so that if we want to live multi-generationally, if we want to care for our aging parents, if we want our kids in their adult years to be around us, which my dream has been, I want to be around my kids and grandkids. Like that's,
Amen.
That is the life I'm going to live. And so this whole, all this stuff was like, how can we do that? And how can we help get the kids bought into?
I've also taken a look at the scriptures and how God actually prioritizes making things beautiful. He has such distinct and specific just directions for his people about places of worship or about ways to build and construct things. And I think that's really beautiful. And I feel like it's a display of the Lord through us if we can take the time and the attention and even see it as a worthwhile use of our resources. And that's been a belief shift in me that's been really difficult because I did not grow up in a family that had tons of resources. And when I got resources, it became difficult to accept that, honestly. So this whole process has been like it's been an internal battle for me to be able to receive and to not feel guilty and to process all those feelings with the Lord. And I feel like this room is like a display of, to me, like God's beauty and God's extravagance. It's not finished yet, but I'm working with a designer. She's been a godsend, whose husband's actually a pastor. So when I started telling her our vision, it was neat to meet somebody in that space who said, I understand. I said, what do I want for this room? I need to seat as many people as possible. I want it to be beautiful, to evoke feelings of beauty and worship, but I don't want it to be totally overwhelming. Some of the ways we're doing that, we're looking at furniture that hides seating and pulls more out when you need it. We wanted to make the fire a focal point and not a television. We want to cultivate conversations.
We want it to be approachable.
We wanted windows and doors that were huge. You can see they're huge, tall windows and doors. We wanted to see the woods and see God's creation from our living room space and walk back onto this deck where it could be, it's just kind of an extended place of worship. And the ceiling, this was really important to me. I've seen some newer homes where they just make it 2-story. And I said, that feels just too big. And it didn't feel to me homey. And I said, I want to bring it down some. And the kids and my kids probably stained half of this wood with me. The crew did help with this, but our family did a lot of this on the ceiling. So our hands and our efforts have been in a lot of the things in this house already.
So big meetings in this room, as well as a place where just your family can be.
Yes.
Well, in our family long term, that's what we keep thinking. Okay, it serves at church now, but when our 5 children, they always say, if we have as many kids as you, that's 25 kids in addition to us and our spouses and you guys. And, we're up in the 30s and the 40s range pretty easily with just our immediate family, our children and grandchildren. Another consideration was tables. I'm like, we're going to feed the people. So when we get to the kitchen, I can talk about that.
Okay. Great. Anything else that's kind of unusual choices that you make? That's very interesting about the roof.
Well, the roof line, it's approachable, but it's also, we homeschool. So this loft was on our list of things you really wanted. So we have a loft above the kitchen, which is the homeschool room, but also there's spill out seating there. And so, like, you can have even more people who can sit up there and down was theirs, like, if you're really packing it out.
Sure could.
So
they wanted to build, like, a wall up for the stairs, and I wanted open railing here and here so that we can fit as many people up the stairs and in the loft as possible.
Yes.
I love it.
I've been thinking about how many people can I feed? How many people can I seat? Can I host my kids' rehearsal dinners in our home? How can we become a banquet center, but it's still a house, basically? Wow. So there will be a banquette. I learned that term through this process. I don't know, fancy stuff like that. It's going to go in the corner in the living room. So there will be like a little eating kitchen space over there. This will be close to an 11-foot island space with some stools around it, but also a big buffet for serving.
Smart.
We have a drink side of the kitchen, and we also have a regular side of the kitchen, and we have 2 dishwashers because we do love to host, and they fill up quick. 2 sinks. We just doubled it all. And that way we can accommodate a lot of folks.
Great.
Through the cutout with the tables, through the cutout, there will be a dining room in the existing house that will have a big table, but we made space to pop up a folding table in there as well. And we have a transitional guest suite right next to that could have like a Murphy bed and sleep an older relative if needed. But when that's not in use, there will be room for another table or two.
Wow.
In that room and connecting room. So I am hoping that the blessing of God in my cooking skills increases as much as my vision for having tables.
Yeah. That's great.
That's what I'm just hoping and trusting in that.
That's great. You know, let me put a plug in here that in Acts 2, when the church is meeting together over and over, we do a fairly good job of teaching. They devoted themselves, the apostles, teaching all the time. That's a main feature of church life. But it also says the breaking of bread together and prayer. And I think we do a fairly lame job of just being hospitable with one another and eating great food together. So you should come to our church. That's a main feature. That's great.
All right, we'll walk you back here. We'll show you our bedroom. The soundproofing is real. Like, there's a lot of homes that have a bedroom on the first floor, but they might be right off of the living room. We are barricaded.
Okay.
So you're standing in our closet, which is a large space, and all of this is soundproofed. And so, like, we've got closet here, and then we've got mudroom and laundry
rooms.
We are totally buffered. So this is our private getaway right here.
We've also noticed, with our parents, sometimes grandma and grandpa can't stay up as long as the rest of the family. They're older, and no problem. We just go to bed, and the family can carry on when we're old.
I've been trimmed. I haven't seen that. Cool. And then we just finished our tile this week.
What?
And you go first.
This is the best part.
Justin, we did a similar tour of your house.
Yes.
When it was being worked on.
Yes.
And you told us at the time that you were training and employing young people to build your house.
Yes.
How'd that go?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you are, your crew is building this Sztanyo edition.
Yes.
So just give us a little refresher on what is your company about, and why does doing this so down the middle of what you want to be about?
Yeah. So we've got 15 guys on the crew under the age of 18.
Okay.
And so part of what we're doing is a lot is happening at one time. There's obviously a house being built that you're seeing, but there's also young boys turning into men, learning the skills that will go with them the rest of their lives. We were here all winter. We worked, it was 8 degrees out, and we worked every day this winter, just about. And so,
Amazing.
yeah, and so we came, bundled up, put the diesel heater on, and worked. And so there was a lot of character that these young men, not one boy skipped a day. We worked, and it was hard. It was hard for me.
I bet.
It was a real challenge. But they've risen to the occasion. We set 130 trusses on just this project alone, and we did that in 2 days. One of the days in the pouring down rain. So we've had quite a few adventures here to build and work on this project.
That's amazing. And how have you, for instance, worked with the Sztanyos why are they an ideal client for what you do?
Well, there was a friend of ours prophesied over me that I was like a Sherpa. And I've done a lot of crazy things with my family, but I was to help other families climb out. And so part of the vision, and I think the Sztanyos would say, they hired me because they wanted their family, in particular their kids, to be on the crew. And their kids have worked tremendously hard on this job, learned lifetime skills. And so they're climbing a mountain, they're tired, they're exhausted, but they are going to be way stronger, their whole family is, when they're done with this whole thing.
Awesome. Well, we're inspired looking around your work.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
What do you feel like your favorite part has been?
I love, I love working with the young people and watching that go. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Let's go upstairs.
That'll cut through to the kids' bedrooms. And so there'll be 4 bedrooms there. So they'll be able to pop out here and come down this way. We have 2 staircases now, which is fun. We're losing 1 bedroom due to that, or 1 bathroom due to that hallway. So we added another bathroom here. We have a second laundry room over here,
And get those kids trained on doing their own laundry.
which happens this summer.
That's right. That's
Very exciting. I guess we didn't say the loft. The idea here is kind of we homeschool most of the kids, so this is like school space, desk, and Whitney can shout out from her kitchen to them, but the stuff's up to them. Exactly. Yeah, bookshelves and desks and that kind of idea here.
It's also accessible hangout space
Yeah.
for maybe teens that's a little more visible. I do not like sending a bunch of unsupervised young people to a dark basement. Doesn't add up to good things usually. So that would be a little more monitored. But up here is a great, you're near the family still.
Let me ask you something that people are thinking, because you said that the focal point of the living room is the fireplace and not a TV. Is there a TV in this house? Will there be one?
There are kids watching the TV right now. We're obviously very anti.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have a firm. We're going to try to keep it out of this room.
I see.
So yeah, there will be TVs and
That's about conversations and relationships.
that's right.
And dad napping.
Yeah, exactly. We will probably use a projector for the groups, but we've had this debate in terms of like if you want to do lyrics or teaching on the wall or something.
You do it above the fireplace.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
We haven't figured that for.
All right.
Yeah, the TV is supposed to be a special thing, not the focal point.
Yeah, I like that.
This is this is so I a home office, a very large home office.
We've hosted so many things without this amount of space.
Sure.
That we thought, what if we have the space? We've hosted church plants, and we've slept, 8 adults, and we just figured out how to do it with separate mattresses. That we've hosted families, parents. We've had up to 3 adults living here for at least like a year in different rooms or sharing rooms. So with each space, we're trying to kind of move it with an open hand, because I think that there's subtle parts of the vision that I feel like are fleshed out, and then there's a lot of it where I feel like God's gonna either show us that over time or maybe even change it. So I have felt like we've had to have spaces that are flexible and not locked in, because we may think we know what's happening, but that's so rarely the way that it actually works out.
Yeah. Well, that's so exciting. That's great. So what I hear, just to reflect back, you guys have been faithful with the little that we've had, smaller, not little, but the smaller that we've had. You've been generous, hospitable, and so now you have the resources and flexibility we can make something that contains what we've done, but we're actually going to make something bigger than what we've done with the expectation that the Lord will give us a greater harvest.
That's it.
That's kind of thing. Yeah,
We hope
great.
so.
That's great.
Okay, let's go down.
Let's go down.
Okay, we're in the basement, drier than the old basement.
Yes.
Right? And so what do we got here? What are we doing?
Yeah, we dug a big hole and I rolled it. But this is, we mentioned bringing down the kitchen. So we're going to have an apartment on this side. There's a bedroom behind me, actually right here, and a full bath on this side. So we can kind of wall off this whole section down here.
Wow.
So that could be for guests or family, for our kids when they grow, was kind of the idea with that.
Airbnb.
Not legal in our town, but
Yeah. We could maybe on the private Abraham's wall at Airbnb.
yeah.
All right.
This space to me is one of those spaces, like I was talking about upstairs, where we have vision for it, but I feel like God wants to do something with it that we just don't know yet. And he had mentioned parents, like my parents have recently moved out of state, so somewhere for them to come land a little longer term would be nice. And my mom has celiac disease, so a separate kitchen is wonderful when they come. But beyond that, I know the Lord has really given me a heart for people at Children's Hospital. And I'm asking him about this space. Is this going to be a space we use to serve some sort of ministry there? When I was a kid, I say now that I was healed, but I dealt with a chronic disease for many years. From the age of 6 to 13, I had very regular relapses with a really rare form of kidney disease. I spent a lot of time at Children's. I underwent experimental chemotherapy. And my parents say that being in the Cincinnati area, when they worked from here originally, may have been straight from God, because we use that hospital so much. And I'm fairly certain that this space will be used, whether it be in small spurts or longer term, for people from out of town who need to come in a season of really just dire circumstances. And with our heart for families and for children, I want to do whatever I can to keep those families together. I've had other friends, several friends whose children have been diagnosed with rare forms of heart disease, have needed heart transplants, or have had cancer. And most of them are local, but my heart just really breaks for that community. I want to see them together, because these families typically have very high divorce rates and families that break apart. And anything that we could do to provide a way for them to be together, something that doesn't burden them financially, and then in addition to that, something that offers prayer support and community potentially when you are a traveling
and a connection,
a sojourner,
a home and meals, not a hotel, like that stuff that just really matters. Yeah. Well, this is going to be room for workout area / gym.
Oh.
I'm hoping to get a sauna in the back. Which would be awesome.
The more the Sztanyos talk about this home, the more I can see myself spending more and more time here.
Well, what's funny is, Stephen, I happen to walk through to see what's new, what has been built, and all of a sudden Stephen pops out. I'm like, Stephen, it's happened like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, this is something.
we'll give you a free membership.
Good. Food gym.
This room is tall and are you still going?
I am.
It's lower because the dream here was that this would actually be a golf simulator room.
Okay.
So we will have a screen, a projector room. You can swing golf clubs out here.
Okay.
And it's also a movie room. There are a lot of movies that want to show to my kids. And it's also like a youth groupie type room. But the pliers next door have an outdoor pickleball court, basketball court, and this can get us through these, Cincinnati winters.
Yes.
You can do some indoor activities.
Yes.
So,
Cool.
so excited about that.
Very fun. So why golf exactly?
I want to have activities I can do with my kids when they're adults. And so that was, the thought process was a sport that we can do for decades. Yeah.
Also, in the Sukkot 2040, part of that celebration was the Sztanyo, that's how our last name is spelled, Sztanyo Scramble.
Nice.
And we need a practice zone.
And we were club champions.
We were club champions.
We're not a part of a club anywhere. We just, I wrote it in there.
You better get good.
This vision needs to grow a lot.
And you have 24
to
grand.
practice. But your dad has been meticulously involved in zoning. He's been involved in the blueprints, and ultimately I feel like he inspired this idea of building something with our children, because when Eric was growing up, his dad, who was a pilot by trade, actually started a small business called Sztanyo and Sons. And
It's true.
the business built one or two.
We bought one. We built one house when I was 12, 13.
Why?
He wanted to teach his sons how to build a house. And he wanted to do it together, and
Cool.
he wanted to show us how to build quality, and it was a great experience. But yeah, he's been kind of our executive director, I would say, of this hub. Like we invited him in and said, we don't know what we're doing, can you help us? And he's just done an amazing job of giving us insight and value and work, but also like
Let value
but
us.
also let it be ours. But even more so than that, the help and the experience, they've been amazing encouragers and cheerleaders throughout. So there have been several little moments in this process where they've kind of said, no, you guys are doing great. It's an amazing thing. It's been a huge blessing to have them along the way. You interviewed Justin, you'll clip that in somewhere, but we chose him. He mentioned we chose him because we wanted our sons to be involved.
Yeah.
And that was a big part of it too. I would say, like I said, we've been here 10 years. And so a big part of our decision here was we could go somewhere else, but we're going to lose 10 years of memories and a love that the kids had for this home. And so when the vision was, we want our kids to come back and we want them to be here, a large part of the decision that I'm really excited about is not only do they get to continue in being in this home, but they help build it. Right. It's like, I raised that wall. I laid that wood floor.
Right.
And so that was yes, they're getting the skills, but it was also utilizing Justin in that way. It was like, I want my kids to be vested here even more so.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit,
That's really special.
it was special, and I think it's paying off. I think it will pay off for sure. Where they're like, I built that with my hands. Like,
Yeah.
So
Let me make a closing comment.
Please do.
Which is, it's very interesting to see the process. I mean, we learned about your business the last time we had an episode with you, and God's blessed that. And I know that it takes faith to then plunk that money down. You're really shooting faith in the future, not just for the 2040 Sukkot, but for what's 2 years from now going to look like. And anyways, it's so clear as you're talking how much generosity, hospitality, and heart for the people of God flows through the building of this place. So even if I didn't live here, I would want to say it on behalf of the kingdom of God. Thank you for, we find this, the Prior House is a great example. When I came up here and I didn't know where any of you guys were, I felt very comfortable sitting on Jeremy's porch because he's basically said, my house is going to be a community center for the kingdom of God. And if you have a handful of families that think that way, you are halfway to creating a network for the kingdom. So you guys are clearly going, we're going to be one of those families. I think it's super inspiring. It's definitely the kind of thing I want our people to see. So thank you for letting us invade, and congratulations in advance for the day that you actually get to move into this place.
Thank you. Pray that that's the right place.
thank you, Steve.
Thank you.